Tom Smith claimed his second 5-wicket haul of a promising summer for the all-rounder as Lancashire moved ahead of Yorkshire on the penultimate day of their LV County Championship Roses clash at Headingley. Yorkshire started the third morning responding to their opponents' 325 with a score of 29 without loss, and Adam Lyth and Alex Lees carried their opening partnership to 66 with a solid start. Smith, who struck a 50 in his side's first innings, then claimed his first wicket of 5 by having Lees caught behind by Alex Davis for 21. The all-rounder then struck again in his next over as Kane Williamson edged a half-drive to Stephen Croft with a total on 82 for 2. Lyth was still there though, and the opener proved his consistency by getting to the 50 mark for the 5th time in 8 championship innings this summer. But much to his captain's annoyance at the other end, Lyth was then out to the next ball he faced. Lewis Rees with the sharp catch in the slips, which now reduced Yorkshire to 97 for 3, Smith taking 3 for 12 in the space of 16 balls. Smith may have bagged all 3 wickets, but he didn't always put the ball where he wanted to, and that allowed Johnny Bairstow to get his innings off and running. He was going along nicely until he was LBW to Kyle Hogg for 20 with the score on 136 for 4. Before that happened, we had the talking point of the day. Umpire Peter Willey initially gave this out in spite of Glenn Chappell's half-hearted appeal. Andrew Gale made his thoughts known, and unusually Willey changed his mind, admitting that he'd got it wrong. Lancashire should take credit for accepting that decision, although they may have been a little upset that Gale made the most of it. He was on 25 at the time, but then he glued his side's innings together, making a 50 off 63 balls in the process. The Yorkshire captain has been involved in the odd controversial moment before in a Roses clash, but he wasn't to blame for that moment. Whatever, he soon put it behind him and played some terrific shots with wonderful timing to keep this game well balanced. That was until his side collapsed, losing 4 of their wickets in quick succession, something Yorkshire have not been used to happening to them this year. It began when Adil Rashid threw the bat at a wide ball from Smith and edged behind on 12. Andrew Hogg was out in the next over. Before he'd trouble the scorers, he was bowled by Kabir Ali, the ball not getting up as much as Hogg had anticipated. Ali, who also bowled very well for the most part, then had Tim Bresnan held in the slips by Paul Horton, the England man falling for just a single. And Smith then grabbed his 5th wicket of the day in the following over as Liam Plunkett was LBW after he'd just struck 12 runs off 5 deliveries. That wicket gave Smith the 4th fifer of his career, and he'd helped change the complexion of this game. From 178 for 4 in the 52nd over, Yorkshire had slipped to 196 for 8 by the end of the 58th, and a large first innings advantage for the visitors looked a real possibility. Gale was still going strong though, and he added 38 runs for the 9th wicket with fellow left-hander Ryan Sidebottom. The former England bowler had made 9 when he clipped a ball from Simon Carrigan to Smith at mid-wicket. The total now read 234 for 9. The lead on first innings for Lancashire was eventually brought down to 82 runs, with Gale having a go to see if he could get to his 100 before the last wicket fell. Aside from that, these runs were important to try to keep their opponents out in the field for as long as possible. In the end, Gale was denied his ton. He was left stranded on 95 when last man Jack Brooks couldn't deal with a swinging delivery from Chappell, which he lobbed off the leading edge back to the Lancashire captain and coach. Yorkshire were all out for 243, Smith taking 5 for 43, but before the light took the players off 17 overs before the schedule closed, Bresnan got his side right back in this game. He had Horton held by Lyth at slip in his 3rd over, before he trapped Carl Brown in front just 4 deliveries later to leave the visitors on 10 for 2. That became 31 for 3 when Bresnan struck again at the start of his 6th over by having Rees LBW for 10. Bresnan ended the day with figures of 3 for 9 from his 7-over spell. And it could have been even worse for Lancashire. A fired-up Plunkett banged one in at the body of Smith, who was a little fortunate to deflect the ball away from the fielders and to the boundary. With Croft making a battling 23, Lancashire ended the day on 48 for 3, and that gives them a handy lead of 130 to take into the last day, a day where, if the weather holds, all 3 results are still possible. Much will depend on how the first session of the final morning pans out.